This new action RPG from a legendary creator isn't on many people's radar, but maybe it should be. It's aiming to mix up the genre with its takes on its combat, its story, and its gameplay mechanics, so let's go over what makes this upcoming action RPG called Sandland different, and let us know if you're liking the look of it. Recently we got a ton of information on the game, including its release date, so we do know that Sandland is releasing on the 25th of April of 2024 for consoles and PC. When you first look at Sandland, the first thing that instantly stands out is probably the art style, and if it's looking familiar to you, that's because the game is being headed by the legendary creator Akira Toriyama, which you probably know from the hugely popular Dragon Ball series. This upcoming game is based on a manga that was originally written and illustrated in the early 2000s by Toriyama, and the story itself follows Beelzebub in a world that lacks critical resources such as water after years of war and natural disasters have basically made the world a barren place. So we're going to have to uncover secrets, overcome foes, and pave our way to the legendary spring. The actual premise of the game does sound pretty interesting, as unlike other action RPGs, in this one you play as a demon and you get access to a number of vehicles like mechs and tanks, and it also features base building as you search the world for water and resources. But let's see what the official description of the game has to say. You'll dive into a desert world where both humans and demons suffer from an extreme water shortage, the Sandland. Meet the fiend Prince Beelzebub, his chaperone thief, and the fearless sheriff. Follow the team on an extraordinary adventure in search of the legendary spring hidden in the desert. The end is only the beginning, as beyond this arid ground lies a new realm to explore. They say that in this action RPG, you'll find both a nostalgic and heartwarming world created by Akira Toriyama. You will become the main character Beelzebub, learn how to control his powers, and lead your company of heroic misfits to explore the legendary world of Sandland. You'll need to be aware of the many dangers that populate it between bandits, fierce wildlife, and the royal army, so reaching the spring won't be easy. You'll have to use your tact and imagination to develop tanks and other vehicles that will help you navigate this vast land using an array of part combinations. To be honest, it's actually sounding like a pretty different game, which to me makes it pretty cool, especially for an RPG. It's not what I was expecting, but there is something I was worried about, and that was if all of the combat would be about the vehicles and tanks, as that's obviously a big focus. Well, they have said that the game will have a combination of both, meaning you will be able to control Beelzebub in fights too, and that will actually be required for certain encounters. However, the vehicle combat is a huge focus of the game, just like in the source material where you roam the Sandlands in various vehicles. In the game, you'll be able to level up your vehicles that you create by adding parts onto it like weapons, engines, and suspension. They say there will be a number of different vehicle types that will serve different purposes, such as faster motorbikes to cover distance quickly, battle tanks with huge cannons that will be your go-to for combat, and vehicles that even allow for jumping so you can traverse hard to reach places. Luckily, the developers have been releasing short videos of some of these vehicles that you can build, so we actually have a little peek into a few of them. The battle armor looks like a more traditional mech suit, allowing you to both traverse the environment and is good in combat with a ton of weapons on it, and with it being a mech, you'll also be able to lay down some pretty heavy knuckle sandwiches on enemies. We already said about how there will be vehicles that focus on speed, and with that in mind, the dirt buggy looks like it not only has super fast speeds, but also an assortment of weapons if you are in a pinch, making it your go-to for hit and run tactics. And then there's the ride hopper that allows you to jump, tow a heavy weapon, use motorbikes for speed, and many more depending on what your needs are. All of these vehicles are looking pretty cool, but they're going to be completely useless if there's nowhere to actually drive them in and the world isn't big enough to really make use of them. Well, the developers have reassured us that the game will be packed with things to discover as you explore, as they've made the world a large open world with dungeons of different sizes to explore, ranging from smaller ones to even bigger ones. You see, these dungeons will be a key part of gameplay, as this is where you'll get some of the most high quality materials and best parts that you need to customize your vehicles. Exploring the dungeons will help uncover one of the game's biggest mysteries as well, which is what happened to the old world and how did it end up like a giant sand land. In addition to the main story and dungeon exploration, there will also be side quests. The cool thing about these side quests in this game is that they essentially will help you with building up your base, as one of the first things that Beelzebub will need is a base of operations for him and his friends before they can go out on their adventures. So by finishing these side quests, you can recruit more people to join your base, and that not only changes how visibly built up it is, but also unlocks new options for us as players like items and new things for our vehicle building too. The game is looking very interesting and is definitely quite different, so if you're looking for a new type of action RPG to put on your radar, then this one just might be a contender, but do tell us what you're thinking of it so far. If you want to see even more of the game, then we'll leave the latest trailer here for you to check out.
The heck is this?
The site of the great Aquanium explosion. And the one who pulled the trigger on that bomb was the commander of the Royal Army Tank Corps. Me. We can't let it cause yet another tragedy.
I'm Anne. I happen to be an ace mechanic. Are you guys looking for the legendary spring?
If Aquanium is involved, this is a national emergency.
It's getting dangerous and fun.
A spectacle indeed.
Magnificent. The sheer scale of it makes you feel like less than nothing in comparison. That light! That's Aquanium!
Stand back, everyone. I'll take him out myself.
That Zeo, is there no end to the secrets he was keeping from his own army? One of the nasty relics of that foolish war.
I seriously don't understand human.